Good day everyone, I am Jason Kayanong from BSBA Purview, and my topic is the methodology of an HRD audit, preparing for the HRD audit. The methodology of an HRD audit. The methods for auditing the HRD functions have been used in many organizations. Rao 1999, Rothwell and Casanas 2003. A team of auditors visits a corporation and uses many methodologies to assess the appropriateness and adequacy of the various HRD systems, strategies, structures, competencies, culture, and processes. The audit starts with a briefing to the CEO and the Chief of HR, who may set an agenda and focus areas for evaluation. The interview with top managers starts with an in-depth investigation of the organization's strategic plans and uses that as a basis for outlining the organization's competencies, requirements. The current competencies, structures, and HRD systems are assessed for their capability to position the organizations for the future. Suggestions are made to improve ways of achieving the future business goals and plans. The HRD audit is contextual and at the same time relies on the available knowledge of the potential of the HRD systems to help the organization realize its goals. Auditors use various methods. 1. Individual interviews. 2. Group interviews. 3. Workshop. 4. Questionnaire method. 5. Observation. 6. Analysis of secondary data and analysis of reports, manuals, and other published literature. Individual interviews. The auditors normally make it a point to interview the top managers and senior managers individually. Such individual interviews are necessary to capture their thinking about the organization's future plan, to obtain sensitive information, and to gather information about management style and corporate culture. Top managers also have good perspective due to their strategic positions. Union leaders, departmental heads, some strategic clients, and informal leaders are also individually interviewed. In addition, if the organization is small and is manned by professionals, the auditors make an attempt to enlarge the audit coverage and interview randomly selected people from different levels and functions. Group interviews. It is not feasible to meet the thousands of people who may be employed in very large organizations. The authors have found that in this situation, group interviews, sometimes called focus groups, share a good means by which to collect information about the effectiveness of existing systems. Group interviews typically include 4 to 8 individuals, preferably drawn from the same or similar levels in the organization. In Asia, this is important because junior employees are freer to express their views without the presence of senior managers. However, it is quite common to have cross-functional representation of employees in the same group. If the organization is large, the auditors make an attempt to conduct group interviews for each function separately so as to keep the levels homogeneous in both individual and group interviews. Group interview conducted for an HRD audit. Workshop. In some cases, large-scale workshops are a substitute for individual and group interviews. Workshops may be conducted for groups ranging in size from 30 to about 300. They are gathered in a room and tasked to do the HRD audit. Normally, in the workshop, the participants work in small groups either around various subsystems of HRD, such as performance appraisal, or around different dimensions of HRD. Do an analysis of organizational strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and make a presentation. And questionnaire method. A questionnaire method is a powerful tool for an HRD audit. In this method, comprehensive questionnaire can be developed for assessing various aspects of HRD, including its subsystems, their execution and impact. Such questionnaires should be administered to company executives at the outset of an HRD audit. The questionnaires can be administered individually or collectively to groups. One approach that the authors have found to work is to select respondents at random, call them to a room, explain the audit objectives, and administer the questionnaire. This approach ensures many respondents complete the questionnaire. Rao and Parek have developed other questionnaire since the time the first comprehensive HRD audit questionnaires were prepared. These questionnaires assess various HRD dimensions, including the competencies of the HRD staff, line manager styles, and approaches used in the implementation of various HRD systems. Observation: HRD auditors should physically visit the workplace, including the plant, the machinery, learning centers or classrooms, discussion rooms, and the recreation and eating facilities and other places created by the organization to promote work-life balance. In some countries, employees live in a colony or have special living places owned by the organization or created exclusively for the company, such as hostels, a hospital, or dispensary and schools. If this is the case, auditors should visit this as well. These visits afford HRD auditors opportunities to observe how congenial and supportive the climate of the company is. Such first-hand observation by HRD auditors is essential because employees are not likely to give their best if they live or work under bad conditions. Analysis of secondary data. The analysis of secondary data can yield insights into the company's HRD assets and liabilities. For example, in a company employing nearly 50 HR people, only 2 had received technical training in the HRD area. An analysis of the training programs revealed that few had attended any HRD program in the past 5 years. The analysis of secondary data can prompt such insights. Next, analysis of reports, records, manuals, and other published literature. HRD auditors should also take time to analyze reports, records, manuals, and other relevant literature. Examples include annual reports, marked handouts, the organization's training calendar, the organization's HR manual, and various circulars. An analysis of such documents can provide useful information about the organization's strengths and weaknesses. And preparing for the HRD audit. The organization has to prepare itself for the audit. All diagnoses are painful, particularly if improvement is necessary. If improvement is warranted, then key priorities must be identified and implemented. That requires more work. Hence, undertaking an audit requires courage from the HR department. As preparation for the audit, the auditors must become familiar with the current HRD systems. They do that by undertaking a thorough examination of documents. Exhibit 4.1 delineates a list of documents needed by the auditors before the audit. Checklist of audit documents: personnel manual, manpower planning guidelines, recruitment policies, promotion policies, performance appraisal manuals, TQM manuals, quality circles, shop floor committees, etc. Guidelines, suggestions, gems, and other guidelines, training policy guidelines, succession planning and career planning guidelines and methods. Audit interventions, if any, taken by the organizations, activities of the HRD department, annual reports, training calendar and reports of training activities, diagnostic and evaluation studies, reward systems, policies and guidelines, communication systems and reports, in-house newsletters, and other communication mechanisms, delegations, manuals or guidelines, job rotation and transfer policies and practices, organizational structure of HRD department, small group, activities, shop floor committees, and details, exit interview, guidelines, and data. Documents dealing with facilities offered to employees, worker education and training programs, welfare schemes and facilities, residential colony, facilities guidelines, climate surveys, culture studies, previous HRD audit reports, other studies undertaken by trainees and students, age profiles grade-wise and department-wise for assessing retirement, attrition rates, department or unit-wise, and exit interview data, and any other documents having implication of for HRD strategies. Last, organization charts if necessary. And that's all. Thank you.